With WWE 2K22 coming out next year, it'd be kind of cool to see, well, not only the GM mode that is rumored out there, but there's one feature that I wish that they would bring back, and it'd be kind of killer. And you guys have told me in the community that you like it too. Let's talk about create a story in WWE 2K22. I went back recently and I took a look at 2K14 because they had the create a story feature in there, building up those rivalries, those moments. I could set up a story where I had Vince McMahon in the ring, calling out Stone Cold Steve Austin on Monday Night Raw. I can make those ruthless aggression era moments. I can make these cool retro storylines I wanted to, like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, like whatever I wanted to do, right? And you can see some really goofy stuff along the way. But when you have like the replay piece, when you have the creation suite that WWE 2K Games has had in the past, I feel like this is just sitting there right now for the taking. Create a story, I feel, needs to make a comeback in 2K22. Online communities are a huge thing nowadays. Being able to do your custom creations, share them online, we've seen that really take off from the late 2K games, from especially 2K19 and the abysmal 2K20. As bad as 2K20 is, you can definitely say that people out there are doing amazing custom creations. And the create a story piece is something that allows people to be able to create those huge moments. One way that you could actually make this thing really cool today and modernize it is being able to put in almost a ranking system in the star system, letting people obviously review them online like we have in the past, but have like a tournament piece that you could do online. So instead of having to go for like the towers and all of this stuff that 2K has put in the past, do something that's a little bit more community driven. You could do like the best ranked community stories that are out there. And you can allow communities to vote on what their favorite custom stories are. Because you get some really goofy stuff and you get just some really good quality stuff. So if they allowed more of a voting system and being able to do those on like a monthly basis or whenever there's a big pay-per-view, I think it'd be really cool that if you could center it around and almost theme it that way. Doing it around big pay-per-views or WrestleMania weekend, it's a really good way to drive more fans to the game and get them utilizing things like create a story. What if you allowed people to create a story between Roman Reigns versus The Rock leading up to WrestleMania? And you get fan voting involved. It could really give it a big shot in the arm. Now, you obviously want to be able to see more dialogue options, more arenas, more locations, but you want it to have consequence too. I think one of the things that would make create a story really good is if they could actually integrate it with a GM mode or universe mode today. If I can take a create a story of having Roman Reigns versus The Rock, or my custom AEW story of having Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega, and having that play out on my universe in Dynamite, that would be really cool, because you want to be able to see the story kind of mold and change over time. Being able to add that into a universe mode today, I think would work really well. You'd be able to have things like the rivalries take off. If I have Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega in a rivalry within my story, I'm not confined to just this one story with these superstars. Maybe they could let us have actually create a story or do one story element put into the universe mode itself. That way it's not bogged down and probably crashes a million times if we were trying to load it up with like 5 custom created stories going on all within an actual universe mode. But what you could do is allow us to have like one embedded in there, so then you can allow people to try out that story, play it all the way through week over week as they lead through to a pay-per-view. You can get better custom results, and you kind of playing that whole thing out the way you want to. What gets boring and repetitive with the universe mode today, I find, is that just week over week, I'm not getting the cutscenes that I wish I could get. I get very generic cutscenes. I don't get to be able to push the story thread even further. I just see a bunch of back and forth between two superstars, and it's kind of meh, and you really just kind of sim all the way through till you get to the pay-per-view to then either do the actual match yourself or simulate the results and move on again. If you can embed the create a story within universe mode, you give community members a better control, you get the user a better control experience, being able to define every single week of the story the way they want to, and give it some twists and turns along the way. If you allow that create a story to only go for a month or 2 months, it's probably enough for people out there to at least be able to have another option for what they want to do within their custom universe. The other one with all of this within create a story and just that creation aspect is being able to do the custom cutscenes and promos, the in-ring promos or backstage promos. This is something that's been boggling my mind a little bit lately, is that with the most recent 2K games, we don't have backstage segments. we have just the promos. If you're in universe mode, we go ahead and we click if you want to run a promo, you get to select that superstar. And you get minor selection for what you want that to be with who the superstar is and who's coming out to confront them in the rivalry, but that's about it. If you embed that custom create a story element in there, it can really, really boost up the cutscenes and the promos. I want to be able to take Roman Reigns in the Bloodline and select that I want to create a backstage segment in the dressing room on Roman Reigns' big chair with Paul Heyman standing there, and be able to select where in the card for the night on SmackDown I want to place that promo. Maybe I want to kick it off with Raw after they do the opening scene. Maybe I want to have it after the first match or to close the show. But it would be better than just a standard standing promo that we're getting in 2K19 and 2K20. Now with dialogue, that's a hard thing to do. We're sitting there and furiously punching in with our controllers about just what the words are going to be, or we're going to have just generic text that we're going to have to put in there. But it'd be really good that if you had the options to actually put in those generic text pieces, they're going to say, tonight I am going to be calling out, and then insert the wrestler's name, or I want to fight, I want to have a match with this guy right now. You could put in like 100 versions of just generic text to go back and forth. But if you actually up the ante a little bit, one thing you could do was try to do like a speech to text format. Being able to embed like our microphones in there, being able to speak out and just have it convert through the text options, that would be really, really good. It would also save us a ton of time from having to actually sit there and just meticulously type everything out for what the promo is going to be, because that takes so much longer to get the whole thing done. And if we are getting those custom creative story elements in there, let's add in a cool one, like doing a retirement angle. Maybe that's a direction they could actually go in with this to simplify it, but allow people a lot of creation. You can go into maybe the creation suite for create a story, and it's what angle do you want to create? A blood feud, a retirement angle, new superstar reveal, regular feud, tag team feud, title match feud. Maybe they can go in that direction to then allow it to break up a little bit easier, and it allows a little bit more flexibility, and it allows a lot more control and organization when you're trying to do your create a story. The last thing I'll say on this, everybody, is that I would love to see them actually include the ability to add more superstars to a custom rivalry within a create a story. I need to see more superstars on the screen. We got factions nowadays. We have multiple superstars, and I want to see multiple superstars being able to come out during a promo segment. You got Hurt Business, you got the Bloodline. You want to be able to have all of them out there during a promo. You want to be able to have them all on screen. I don't want to just have Roman Reigns out there with Paul Heyman. I want to be able to have the whole Hurt Business, all four of them, come out and confront Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. I know that's a lot to ask, because trying to get that many characters on screen wouldn't really work, but maybe you could max it out to 3-on-3 or 4-on-4. It doesn't have to break out into a big schmoz and a rumble, but it's got to actually have a little bit more to it. Having these one-on-one little promo segments back and forth are fine, but there's so many more stars in there that you want to be able to bring in. Or if there's a confrontation or a beatdown, maybe 3 stars are jumping it and trying to get in on this guy and try to take him down. And then maybe that could actually roll into the match that you were trying to set up within your universe itself. Let me know in the comments below. What do you want from a create a story? Tell me. I want to go back and forth with you guys, and let's see, because you all have such great ideas for what a create a story could look like. I don't think it's too far-fetched for us to be able to get this in something like 2K22. I think they are going to go down the path of maybe a GM mode, but it'd be really neat to see if they could do this and what could they pull off. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, thank you all for assembling with us. See ya!